WEEU Reading. Welcome back to WEEU's Holiday Festival of Sound. I'm yours truly, Dave Klein. With me is Julie Beth Dry, and she's brought with her some wonderful recordings of A Christmas Past. She represents many fine musical organizations in town, and I'll let her tell you a little bit about that. She's here as a musician and somebody who keeps the business of music alive in our community. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Dave.
And you're an excellent musician, I want the folks to know.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So tell the folks a little bit about your musical background and then your administrative roles.
Well, I'm a professional freelance musician, and I play with many groups, including the Reading Symphony Orchestra and the Reading Pops Orchestra. I'm principal clarinetist, and I'm also president of the board, so I have my hand in most organizational things to get this orchestra on the concert stage and performing.
That's a lot of responsibility.
Very much so.
And yet alone performing at the level that's required from the Reading Pops Orchestra, which is great, and the Reading Symphony Orchestra.
Yes.
I think a lot of folks might have the question, Julie, how many of the players in the Reading Pops Orchestra are also players of the Reading Symphony Orchestra? I don't mean specifically, but is there any crossover?
There are about 8 of us that do perform with both groups.
And just a little inside thing, I know it depends on the music you're playing, but is there one style that you prefer over another? For example, do you like pops a whole lot more than you might like performing something very ponderous, like Mahler or something? I don't know.
I really, really love Broadway and jazz and the lighter pops, but sometimes it's really challenging to play the symphonic music, and that is a very good feeling as well. And a sense of accomplishment, especially when we get through a really difficult piece.
I have another question for you, as one musician to the other.
Okay.
Are you interested in the history of music? Does that fascinate you? Does that intrigue you? Because you have to go with a maestro, a music conductor's interpretation of the piece you're going to play in most cases. So that would make me curious as to what did this composer really think about when he or she was writing the music.
Yes, and it's difficult. When we were in college, we had to have a music history class, and when you read something in a book, it's not really explaining what the music sounds like. I mean, the only way to know it is to hear it. And unfortunately, we don't know exactly what the composer would have said at that time.
Right.
So it's up to us to interpret the music. And really the best way to do that today is you just keep listening to more and more recordings and how other groups have performed the pieces. And that's part of preparing for a concert. We're expected to listen and know what to do when we get there.
Well, so that's a very, very important of the musical process is to listen, then perform it so others can listen, right?
Yes.
And there's no time when music is more joyous, I think, than during the holiday season because it's such a vast repertoire of music that you can play. Everything from classical to, pop. And with the Reading Symphony Orchestra, you've had the best of both worlds now for several New Year's Eve on end. You've played last year the music of the Beatles.
Yes.
That was fantastic. And some of the other ones, I think, was it James Bond, the music from the Bond films?
Yes.
And so fantastic.
Sting,
that's right. That's right.
I think the year we did the program that was like a 40s radio show was the most fun in my book.
Yeah,
I
that was
loved
another
that
great one.
That was great.
So we're here to talk about holiday music and in particular the Reading Pops Orchestra. I've had the privilege and pleasure to perform with the Reading Pops Orchestra, and I want to tell you that is breathtaking when you're standing there as somebody who's never performed with a particular orchestra. You never quite know what to expect. And I got to tell you, when you folks unleashed it and brought it, it was great. It was really, really neat.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons we love having students perform with us, because how many opportunities are they going to have to perform with a 55-piece orchestra behind them? It's just an amazing experience, and they always are so grateful.
There's really nothing like it because it's not that you just hear the music, you actually feel the music. I mean,
Yes.
it just enters your being, and it's really something special. So Christmas time, what do you have for us? You brought us some special recordings, and we're very thankful.
Yes, well, this is from our concert last December, a Pops holiday celebration every year, and we invited the Reading Choral Society to sing along with us. And, of course, we did some of our own pieces first, and then we did some combined, and it's really amazing how much music there is in the library, how much Christmas music, and we just keep trying new things and bring it all along. So
when are these recordings from? Give us a year. So we
this
dated.
was December 15th, 2013.
2013. Okay,
Yes.
So now we have that for the historical archive. So here you go, ladies and gentlemen, the Reading Pops Orchestra. And who'd you say was with you?
Well, this first tune is just us, but later there will be some things with the Reading Choral Society.
All right. This is all for you folks to enjoy right here on WEEU's Holiday Festival of Sound.
Thank you, and good afternoon, and welcome to this annual Pops Holiday Concert here at the beautiful Miller Center for the Arts. And we're glad that the big snowstorm yesterday didn't keep you away. I don't think any of us were quite sure what we would wake up to this morning, but thank you for braving the weather and the elements and spending this afternoon with us. And what's going to, I think, prove to be a wonderful holiday program, this collaboration between the Reading Pops Orchestra and the Reading Choral Society. Before we get started, I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment and just mention and acknowledge the sponsors, in addition to yourselves as dutiful audience members who attend, our sponsors who help us in the production costs of these programs. And they are, as you know, the Reading Eagle newspaper, WEEU radio, Land Displays, the Jerlin Foundation, and the Reading Musical Foundation, and of course our partners here at the Miller Center for the Arts. Please join me in thanking all of our sponsors. Today's program has some popular things in it, as we've saved for the second half, an opportunity for you to become involved in a really beautiful sing-along at the end of the day, and some wonderful traditional pieces that we don't get often a chance to play unless we have the right musical forces put together. But since I knew we had Rafe Vaughan Williams on our program today, I would have been remiss if we didn't program his beautiful Fantasia on the tune Greensleeves. And at this time, I'd like to acknowledge our guest harpist today. Our regular harpist, Phyllis Peters, could not be with us today, and we're so happy that at the very last minute, Miss Eunice Kim substituted for us. So please, thank you, Miss, for everything you were here for her today. And now the very beautiful Vaughan Williams Fantasia on Greensleeves. Our next three selections highlight the amazing career of American composer Morton Gould. And on December 10th, just a few days ago, we would have celebrated the 100th anniversary of the birth of Morton Gould. There has been quite a centenary celebration on this last year of the music of Morton Gould. Bands and orchestras around the country alike have been performing Morton Gould-themed programs. And the Reading Pops, in our July concert at the Wyomissing Stonehouse, dedicated the second half of our concert to the music of Morton Gould. And we were very, very honored to have Morton Gould's daughter, Abby G. Burton, in the audience with us. She spent the afternoon at the Pops Orchestra rehearsal, talking to the musicians. She was at the concert at the Stonehouse and delivered some wonderful remarks, and after which sent just a beautiful letter of thanks for everything that everybody is doing this year to keep the music of Morton Gould alive. I want you to know that I invited Abby to be here with us today, and we said it was all weather related. And yesterday would have been her travel day from New York State, and as you know, that just was not to be. So she did send me a beautiful little Christmas card to share with all of you, and there's a picture of her dad there, and the quotation at the top is, "I've always felt that music should be a normal part of the experience that surrounds people." And you that are here as part of this audience today, I think, are a testament to that fact, that music is a normal part of the experience that we have. So in a tip of the hat and a nod to the music of Morton Gould, I dug through the archives and I found three little nuggets of his. They're short little pieces. The first, I just thought I'd introduce all three, and then we'll play them for you as a set. The first, Home for Christmas, he wrote in 1939 when he was very busy producing weekly radio programs, and later on recorded with his orchestra. It was put together on a larger set of 6 works celebrating 6 different holidays of the calendar year in 1947. But we're going to do his little original, Home for Christmas. A very clever setting of Good King Wenceslas, and you'll just have to listen carefully to see where the melody goes and what he does with it. And a most interesting tribute to the first Noel, complete with a string quartet, a brass quartet, a woodwind quintet, and all these nice little moments of chamber music within the large orchestra. So they're a little different, but Morton Gould was a little different. And he was a great American, really left a legacy and a mark on music which we don't want to forget. So as we celebrate the 100th anniversary of the birth of Morton Gould, we're pleased to share with you 3 of his holiday favorites.
Hi, this is Dave Klein, and I hope you're enjoying WEEU's Holiday Festival of Sound, brought to you by the Reading Musical Foundation. I'm proud to say that for the past 30 years, I've enjoyed volunteering with the RMF to further its mission of enriching our community through music. Our family has contributed to the RMF to help provide lessons for dozens of guitar and banjo students. If making our community better through music and education appeals to you, please consider doing what so many others have done. Give to the Reading Musical Foundation. It's a gift that gives back in countless ways. And Merry Christmas.
Our concert continues with the addition of our very special guest today, the Reading Choral Society. And if they're in the area, and they are, we're going to just have them come on the stage. It'll take them a little while to load the visors. And while they're doing that, just a word about their organization and the pieces we're going to perform for you in this first half of the concert. The Reading Choral Society is celebrating their 138th season in existence. Is arguably America's oldest musical ensemble. Formed in 1875, this group has carried on an annual tradition of choral excellence that has spanned now 11 master conductors. And we appreciate the opportunity to have this collaboration, this opportunity to collaborate with the choir. They have been masterfully prepared by Peter Hopkins, who is their current choral director. And unfortunately, his very busy schedule in the Philadelphia music scene did not allow him to be here today. So the honors have been transferred to me to conduct these next two pieces. The names Gustav Holst and Ralph Vaughan Williams really were synonymous with a movement that swept the English countryside at the turn of the 20th century in folk song collecting. And Vaughan Williams himself collected over 800 folk songs, set many of them to different settings. But he was always very careful to give credit to the folk songs, the singers that sang them, and the people who helped him find this material. And one of them was Cecil James Sharp. Cecil Sharp and Lucy Broadwood and Maud Carples were all very busy in this folk song collecting movement. And Vaughan Williams collaborated a lot with Cecil Sharp, and it was just nice to see on the title page the dedication to Cecil James Sharp for this piece. I think if we are looking and we have not found yet, as they, to coin a phrase, the reason for the season, you're going to find it in this piece. This is a very exquisite piece of choral literature with orchestral accompaniment, fantasia on the Christmas carols. And the text that is delivered in the first few minutes of this piece is really worth listening to and absorbing. And as we reach the conclusion of the message that is delivered in that text, the good news will come after that, and you will know that. You will know that when we get to that part of the piece. But I'm so thankful to the Reading Choral Society for selecting this piece of music. This is something that we would not normally have a chance to perform, and just a terrific opportunity for this collaboration. So before we go any farther, we need someone to help us tell the story. A narrator in the form of a fine baritone soloist who is a product of the Berks County area, a graduate of Kutztown University, currently in his second year in a master's degree program at the State University of New York in Binghamton, where he's pursuing opera, and an RMF, a Reading Musical Foundation Scholar winner. Please welcome our baritone soloist and the Reading Choral Society. Baritone soloist, Matthew Samlock.
Absolutely beautiful. The Fantasia on Christmas Carols by Ralph Vaughan Williams, as performed by the Reading Pops Orchestra with the Reading Choral Society. With us is Julie Beth Dry. Julie, that's tremendous. People should come out and see the Reading Pops. Where does the Reading Pops perform during a year?
Well, we do this holiday concert at the Miller Center every December. So look for us. We're usually the second Sunday in the month of December. And we do perform during Jazz Fest, and we always have a name artist with us there. And then we have our summer concert series, and we have a Father's Day concert, an annual concert, and we'll be back at Cocuzing Meadows in Spring Township. And we do something at the Wyomissing Stonehouse, and we usually feature students who've been recognized for their accomplishments in their high school shows. And we've been doing an educational program with a side-by-side, and this coming June we will be at the Topahawken High School, and that's through a grant with the Berks County Community Foundation, getting concerts to the outlying areas. So we've got a nice grant to help us get to Topahawken High School and hopefully reach another new audience.
Oh, there's such a great legacy and tradition in the music of the Reading Pops Orchestra.
Definitely.
I can see where this would take a lot of support. You've been mentioning sponsors, and you heard the music director, Will Rapp, talking during the concert pieces there.
Yes.
At your live performance. How important is it to an organization like the Reading Pops that has been around for decades and decades as part of the musical fabric of Berks County to have this continued sponsorship support from business people or private patrons?
Oh, it's extremely important. The Pops kind of started in 1963 when Wes Fisher gathered some musicians, and he just gave it a name, the Reading Pops Orchestra. And by 1969, it was an incorporated nonprofit organization, and we've been playing continuously since that time. And it's just a great tradition, and I feel like we've got a tremendous staying power. We're still here. I wasn't there in 1963 or 69, but I've been there since 1984. So it's great that we are there, and yes, of course, we do rely on the community, but look what we give back to the community. It's just a great opportunity to hear music, and we love to say, this is something other than what you hear on the radio. Come out, hear live music, and we can inspire families, and it's a very relaxed atmosphere at a lot of our outdoor concerts. Bring the family, bring a picnic, lay out the blanket, let the little kids hear it, let them run around. I don't mind. But
absolutely.
It gives them the exposure, and it just opens the mind. I mean, sometimes these students have no concept of something other than what you do hear on the radio. So it's so great to hear this. I mean pop music.
Right, sure.
Hip-hop and rap. I mean, here's some fabulous music, and it's incredible. So I'm a big fan of live music.
You're listening to a chat with Julie Beth Dry concerning the Reading Pops Orchestra. And we're going to continue on now with the Reading Pops Orchestra concert for Christmas. This is the Reading Pops with the Reading Choral Society doing their rendition of Gustav Holst's Christmas Day right here on WEEU's Holiday Festival of Sound, brought to you by the Reading Musical Foundation.
Merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day, to save us all from woe and sin when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. In Bethlehem in Jubilee this blessed babe was born, and laid within a manger upon that holy morn, to which his mother Mary did nothing take in scorn. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. The Christian man rejoices, God and soul and mortal, married in a happy bliss. Joy, joy, Jesus Christ was born on this. He hath opened every door, and Mary's blessed evermore. Christ was born for this. Christ was born for this. Come, be lowly, let your songs of gladness ring. In the stable lies the holy, in the manger rests the King. See in Mary's arms reposing, Christ the highest and adored. Come, the circle round him closing, by his eyes of love lies o'er. Come, you one upon the station, come to light upon the see the Lord of all salvation, sends him up as we fell more. Songs around about him often, raptures in his golden train. Say the shepherd's God has spoken, and the birds of likewise sing. Come, you children, hide and play, this the child of mine. Christmas drawing near and fair, all because of his day. Come, the gentle arms and tender, come, the spirit's sweet and full. Oh, the broken road joy, Christ has held all. Jesus Christ is born today. Jesus Christ is born today. And once and us before him now, and he is in the manger now. Christ is born today. Christ is born today. Christian men rejoice and love, soul and all eyes. Now we hear of endless peace. Joy, joy, Jesus Christ was born for this. He hath opened every door, and man is blessed evermore.
Reading Musical Foundation is Berks County's strongest advocate for music in our schools, and you can make it stronger. I'm Randy Shaler, CEO of Zezwitz Music. Zezwitz is proud to support Reading Musical Foundation's Operation Replay. RMF gathers musical instruments from donors like you around Berks County and turns them into new musical opportunities for young musicians who otherwise couldn't afford to play music. Join me and hundreds of others who invest in the future of music in Berks County with RMF, Reading Musical Foundation, for the love of music.
Merry Christmas to you. This is Dave Klein from WEEU Radio. Our annual Holiday Festival of Sound is brought to you by our parent company, the Reading Eagle Company, publishers of the Reading Eagle newspaper and all of its fine products, as well as our friends and partners in the community, the Reading Musical Foundation. After all, what would our holiday season be without the sounds of our friends, neighbors, family members, and perhaps even co-workers raised in the joyous sound of music? It's always fun to relive the happy days and the happy memories as well, and we'll be doing lots of that. So don't go anywhere. Keep your dial tuned right here to 830 on the AM radio dial. This is WEEU.